What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the It Matters podcast. Before jumping into this episode, if you want to stay updated with all the content I post, don't forget to subscribe to the Facebook page It Matters podcast. This episode is brought to you by Sneaks. It's all about sneakers. These guys are so passionate about the quality of their products and absolutely in love with sneakers. Each pair of them has its own story and personality. However, they truly believe that sneakers are often the ones who actually find us and not the other way around. And this is how their story started. Do you want to keep going? Choose Sneaks. Make a step. You can find them online on www.sneaks.ro. So, today's guest is a friend and colleague of mine, a fifth-year medical student in Bucharest. Apart from focusing on his academic studies, he invested his free time to really make a difference, which he really managed to accomplish. His volunteering activity started in high school, when he took part in various local NGOs, being also a founder of one of them, Rotaract Club, a non-profit organization as well. In medical school, he continued to pursue offering his free time by engaging in so many extracurricular activities. He represents students in the highest forums of Carol Davila University, namely the Council and Senate, and he reached top positions in several students' organizations, Medical Students Society in Bucharest and Federation of Medical Students Associations in both Romania and worldwide. However, his academic achievements are not to be neglected at all. He conducted numerous medical workshops for students in the fields of basic life support, ultrasound examination, gynecology, and laparoscopic surgery. He also participated in more than 10 national and international congresses, where his work has been awarded several times. In addition, in the last 3 years, he underwent several international clerkships in places like Chile, Indonesia, Egypt, or Canada. So, without further introduction, please help me in welcoming the man who managed to bend time and use it at its will for so many purposes, Tedi Blidaru. Hello, Tedi, and welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation, and I'm so glad to have you here after this time.
Hello, Andrei. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm really glad to be one of your first speakers. It's also my first podcast, so I'm really excited.
I'm excited too, and I'm really glad that you liked the idea and you really supported.
Definitely.
I know you for some years.
I think it's 5 now. It's been 5 already.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but the one thing is that I think we have never had such a conversation before.
Not really. We usually we used to carry stuff together, I guess.
Yeah. Besides carrying stuff, I don't think we have, let's say, I don't know, half an hour and just chat without any business.
Yeah, I think we had
attached.
a chat of half an hour when we were running to some place to get some stuff and
Yeah.
then come back to the office.
Yes, exactly. So to start, of course, I'm gonna ask you, why medicine?
Okay, that's a good story actually for me, because I don't have a very conventional story to tell, and I'm not a very complex human being. I'm basically just influenced by a couple of stories I've been through. So why medicine? I've never thought of doing medicine. My mom is a doctor, but she never properly encouraged me to do medicine. I mean, she just encouraged me to do whatever I want. So when I was young, I wanted to be a paleontologist. I was the strange child in the primary school starting the dinosaur club. And in the 4th grade, I remember being super into paleontology, and I was reading about dinosaurs and everything, so medicine was never a plan. What changed my mind and, well, made me discover that paleontology is not the future? I think in the middle school, I started being, well, more like an adult or almost an adult, and I started thinking of more aspects of the future job I want to do. And still medicine was not in the plan. I guess back then I was still going with the crowd, let's say so, because all the IT industry was booming in Romania back then, and I was dreaming of becoming an IT guy.
It's still booming.
It's still booming, but back then everyone was doing maths and IT in school, and they were dreaming of becoming that a super rich IT guy.
You know that you are talking to a guy only 1 year older. I mean, I know what you're
Yeah,
saying.
of course. but I'm from Rybniku Vulcha, and we had a very strong IT industry, and also some really good hackers. It's called Hackerville in America, my city.
No
and
shit.
yeah, like it was an article by some paper in USA, and the FBI called Rybniku Vulcha Hackerville because there were a lot of hackers. So everyone was talking about IT in my
I
city.
had no idea about
No,
that.
for sure. And so back then in the middle school, I wanted to be an IT guy, and before that, paleontologist. And then in high school, I had the chance of studying for 1 year in Japan in an exchange program. And I only met doctors for some reason, and that was a sign for me. I lived for 1 year with a host family, and my host dad was a helicopter doctor. And he took me to the hospital, he took me to the helicopter, and I got to see the hospital firsthand, and a very good hospital in Japan. And then the Rotary Club president, because I was there in the Rotary program, was also a doctor. He took me to his clinic, and he introduced me to all the physicians. I got into the OR and so on.
Too many signs. Too many signs there.
Yeah, like Japan was all about medicine, and I just got to love it, I guess, back then. And I got back home, and I was thinking, okay, now I really need to pick something. And I was still divided between law and med school because I like politics also a lot, and I thought law will help me understand better how the country works. But at the end of the day, I think I chose medicine because I found it more practical and with more opportunities for the future rather than just learning some laws and trying to change them. And
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I remember myself, as I said in the pilot episode, that I chose medicine simply considering less boring than any other
Yes.
universities. I was between something in the range of IT, automatics, and medicine. I said medicine. It's although it's 6 year long, I think it will be a lot more interesting and less boring than any other specialty. So like you, I didn't have that cliched. Since I was a kid, I dreamed of becoming a doctor and saving lives. No, I did not have such thing.
no, but when
I developed the passion
exactly.
progressively.
When we get a bit older and start to really understand how actually jobs work in the future, you get to see that you can do whatever in medicine. You can like IT, you can like technology, you can still do something in medicine.
You can
You
combine
like
them.
literature, you can still do research in medicine. You like to write, you can still write in medicine. So you can be talented in every aspect, but you can still do and have something in medicine.
But the point of going to medicine and doing this stuff is that you can be a doctor passionate in literature, but you cannot be some guy working literature doing medicine.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
you have best of both worlds by medicine. So I think
Exactly, it's best of both worlds, and it's a way of living. So at the end of the day, I really don't regret going to medicine.
me neither. I regret my attitude as we speak about it. But don't you think that it's a bit weird, and this is quite a problem of our educational system, that we had no idea, no real idea about ourselves and what are we going to do? I think we should have after high school. We are talking about 12 years of education. We should have been able to say, okay, my career paths are this, I'm good at this, and I had no idea about this.
So I don't know if we are supposed to be nice in this podcast, but
No,
I guess
we are supposed to be natural and true and everything like because
So-
that's the reason I started this.
my honest opinion about the before university education system in Romania, it's quite bad, and I also used to to be a student representative back then, so I got quite in depth into the education system, and I also understood how the ministry works and so on. But I really, at this point, looking back, I don't think that the school actually taught me that much besides taking an exam, which is the baccalaureate, that was useless at the end of the day.
Yes, basically
So-
we came with nothing. I
Yeah,
mean,
like the school never prepared me for life, actually.
never.
They prepared me for taking that exam that never helped me.
Yeah, I know.
So when it comes to also orientation, I never had that kind of orientation from the institution, from the school, like from the psychologist or so on. I did it my way and in NGOs and meeting people, and it was basically human libraries that.
But you know that we took a lot of risk by making this decision on going to medicine, for example, or any other university that we might end up after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. That man is not what I want to do, and basically you lose 3 years in this process.
I agree, but I think risks are what makes people not be average. So at the end of the day, picking the risky choice may either get you to lose some time, as you said,
True.
or may either bring you way further than the people that chose the safe way do.
Totally agree with you, but my point was that I'm a person that takes risk, but you have to take risk in knowledge of something. We didn't
Agree.
know anything. That was not that kind of risk. It was that foolish and stupid kind of risk, right? That's my view.
In your situation, maybe for me, I don't think it was that much of a foolish risk because I got to meet, I got
Yeah.
to see how the job is, how
In your
how the
situation,
profession, yeah.
True, it is true. And do you want to stay here in Romania for your after finishing university?
Definitely, I'm one of those that never said that want to leave the country. Um, a lot of my colleagues from high school left the country. I really want to stay on the long term. I do want to go abroad for a few years, maybe learn something, come here and implement it. That's why I also travel now a lot and try to learn from other people. But on the long term, I really want to invest back in my country, and I think it would be a pity and a disrespect for my work so far to leave the country because I think I built a network here and I have the people also to build something in the future.
Yeah, I totally respect you for that. I think that I encourage people to leave the country because I think that we are in some really deep shit.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, in so many ways and fields. And I think that people who choose to stay here, they should choose to stay here not just for living, simply living. You have to stay here and do something.
Fighting, yeah.
If you don't, go.
In a good way. I totally agree. When I open the TV, when I turn on the TV or Facebook and I see the political news, I'm sometimes disgusted. I can say so, and I'm thinking, okay, why am I fighting for? Like, is this actually worth it? Because we are going lower and lower with this.
Truly, the politics, I'm so not interested. I know that it affects our lives and I'm so not interested. I really don't care. If you're good and if you want to do something, you can do outside any political power party. I really don't care about it. I don't care, and I'm not expressing my opinions about this because I really don't know. I don't watch this kind of stuff, so I'm not acknowledged in something shit like this.
Well, in a nutshell, we are not going anywhere good at this point.
I can see that just by looking outside the window. It's not rocket science. Now, as we said in the beginning, I know you for 5 years, and I know that you are offering your time by volunteering, and you're very keen on volunteering. How did you develop that passion?
That's again a funny story. So as I said, I don't had like I never had like comprehensive, extensive thoughts about doing something, and I'm thinking a lot, and then I started. No, it just happens by chance, and I get to like it, and I do it at the professional level because I always do stuff at extremes for some reason. I either don't do it at all or I do it to an extreme, a high extreme. So about volunteering, I think I started volunteering in the 8th grade, so that's 8 years back, even more, no, like 10 years back, or 12, I think. It's a lot of years back. I'm not good at maths. Anyway, so it was out of the will to get out of my group of friends. I mean, I still like some of my high school friends, but back then I think I thought that just staying there and sticking with the normal stuff people used to do at my age back then was not getting me anywhere. Like I think I got old enough to realize that watching TV series and getting out in the city every day and I don't know, going out, have a drink, and now going back home, then going to school, going out again, is not taking me anywhere.
There has
higher
to be
than
something
average.
in between that.
Exactly. So the first volunteering I did was in the Interact Club. No, even before that, I joined World Vision, but that was not the professional part of my volunteering part. I just did some small stuff, but the first important part of my volunteering life was the Interact Club. I don't know if you know what Interact is.
I don't.
So Rotary International is the big charity behind Interact.
That
and Interact, it's the junior branch. It's under 18.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to have a very strong one in Râmnicu Vâlcea in my city. And at a point, I just decided, okay, I want to do something else and to meet more people. So meeting the people was the thing I wanted to do back then. And I was like, okay, where can I find these people? And I was seeing on Facebook and posters on the walls in my city. It's a small city. You can see everything that happens. That they were doing some youth stuff. They were doing parties. They were doing a talent show. They were doing a speaking contest, a debate contest, and so on. I was like, okay, I like this kind of activities. It's both fun and it's both educational, so I'll join these guys. And I remember going to the first meeting and having this very warm welcome, and I remember telling telling them then that, okay, I'm Tedi, and I came here, and they asked me, okay, what do you want to do? Look at us. They explained the positions and how the structure works. And I told them, okay, I'm Tedi, and if I am to pick one of those, because they asked me what I want to do, and I want to be president in the future. And they were like, oh, no shit. No, like really. Oh, and do you think you can make it? I'll show you I can make it. And I got involved like a lot. And then also with Interact, I got the chance to travel in Japan, to study in Japan for 1 year. And I was also in Interact back then, in Japan. And I ran for Interact president from Japan online. And I got it. And from then, I think it just rolled on. I came back, we did a lot of projects, and we actually started to seeing a difference we do in the community. I will only give one example about the early stages of my volunteering life. Back in Interact, there was 1 week, it was called Rotary or Interact International Week, and back then it was the birthday of 50 years of Interact. Mm-hmm. And we got this crazy idea. Everyone was brainstorming, okay, what shall we do in that week? And I told you I'm not very complex. Okay, let's do 50 projects. We're like, no, we cannot do 50 projects. No, we can't do 50 projects in 1 week. Like, no, we really can't, but we can. And we actually brainstormed all the projects we had in that room. There were like 20. Then we added 30 more. We stayed like for 6 hours in that meeting. It was the longest Interact meeting I had ever. And we did 50 projects in 1 week. Some of them were actually very easy, like planting a tree in the city center. Some of them were like going to hospital. But we mobilized the whole structure, like 60 volunteers working tirelessly for the whole week, and we did 50 projects. And that was a change within the community. Like we brought some happiness and some change in small places, but for a week we did at least 50 people happy. So that was one of the things we got to see. And after that year of really working in a small city with people I know and making them happy, I think I got volunteering into my blood, and it became a way of life. I'm not exaggerating, but at this point, if everyone asks me, okay, what's your hobby or what do you do in your free time? I told them, okay, I go in the office and we do stuff, or I go home and I do stuff that's related to volunteering. And that's it. I'm just doing it every day, and it's probably my main hobby. And there is one more part of volunteering, I don't know if we can call it so, that I started being attracted to at a point, and that's representation. Mm-hmm. Representing your colleagues and so on.
Of course it's volunteering because no one's paying you.
Exactly. It's still volunteering, but it's another kind of volunteering because it's not doing projects and so on.
Agree.
It's a bit more of like political volunteering, if you call it this way.
Yes.
Not political in a state way of saying it, but
I understand.
I think I started. I started doing it in high school as well. I joined the high school students council, mm-hmm. and I got to see that. Okay, you don't do changes at a small level. You don't make that specific person happy and live a better life. But after 1 year, you may have a group of people, a big group of people, living better in a way because of you. And back then, it was the high school students, and then I got into university, and it became students from Bucharest, then students from Romania, and when you are representing a big group of people and you're being their voice, you can actually make changes at a systemic level, and that's a good feeling.
I cannot agree with you more. I think it's quite, as you said, it's not very complex. I mean, your why back then is that, okay, I want to know people.
Yeah.
And from that, you came to this. And why are you still doing it during the university?
Well, I told
because
you
it's another thing, it's another topic, it's another level.
I think I would have quit university if it wasn't for volunteering. I at this point I don't see myself just doing my job, and my job at this point is it's university.
Of course.
So I had to add something, and that something was volunteering, because I wanted to feel useful for the society, even if I'm young. I'm not yet a doctor. So we are supposed to study now to be good for the future and to do
only
good
study.
Exactly. So I didn't want just to study. I would have become crazy in 6 years of studying. I wanted to become useful for the society also in the university. So that's the why for the volunteering part, for the projects. Mm-hmm. And the second why, when it comes to being a student representative, which is my passion and obsession at the same time, it's because medicine is such a narrow field. I mean, I don't want to, it's not narrow, but it's different from the other fields. So you cannot be a general overall student representative and target the medical students. So I thought at that point back then in the first year, it was a lack of leadership in the young medical society. And I was like, okay, I have the expertise, I have the knowledge to fill that gap. I'll just do it. So that's why I started, and I'm still doing it.
Yeah, you and Nike just do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's awesome, and I know what you're doing, and I know what levels you reached, and how would you define leadership? Because you just mentioned it. I mean, not define. What's your vision of leadership?
That's actually a very good question, because leadership is different.
Don't give me Google quotes,
no,
please.
no. That's why I'm actually not giving you Google quotes. I told you I'm not a very thoughtful person and very complex when it comes to philosophy. I just like my life is a result of some stories I've been through. And when it comes to leadership, I think it's just choosing not to be the spectator. You need to have a purpose to become a leader. When you believe in that purpose strong enough to make others believe in that purpose too, then I think you are starting to become the leader. I don't have any complex definition of leadership. I think in each kind of project or subject or in life, you can express leadership in many ways.
Yes.
And even in the real, if you're not doing anything, if you're being just sticking to your job, you can still express leadership in many ways. And one more thing, you don't need to be a born leader. You can learn it on the way. I used to be quite a shy child when I was really young, but I think I got always to be the leader in the things I was really passionate about. But in some things I don't really care about, I'm never leading that because I don't believe in it. So believing strong enough is what makes people become leaders, and the ability not only to coordinate but to make the others believe in that thing.
Yes, basically to make them believe in this and to believe them in the same thing that you do, and basically to empower them.
To empower them, of course, but also to make them see the result. Because if you just empower them, and okay, I'll make you believe in, I don't know, I can be a ballerina. I will never be a ballerina. Look at me. But no,
I don't know what to say.
But if you also make them see the result in the future by working with you, that's how I define leadership, in my opinion.
Of course, any leader has a goal. You cannot take action like crazy without having a goal. I mean, you can, but it goes to nothing. I mean, you have to know where to go. But I think that not say most important, but equally important than the goal is that you don't have to choose a path to go to that, because you cannot draw your path. You need
to build the path when you are the leader.
You need to build the path, but you need to adapt. You have to know where to go, but know how to go there, because you never know how you get there.
So we have a say in my team, the team I'm currently working with. It's improvise, adapt, overcome. it's our mantra. So yeah, I cannot agree more with you. It's both coordination, because you said how to bring people there. You need to have that skill, but it's not. I mean, I think it's more important to really believe than to have the coordination skills. You can learn the coordination skill, but you cannot get exactly. But you cannot learn to believe in something strong enough to make the whole society believe in it.
No, that just goes from within you. I mean, as you said about ballerina, you can be a ballerina. Okay, you cannot have not a professional level, but if you're passionate about, why not? You can be a ballerina. You can be whatever you want to be. And
not in my current physical shape, I guess.
It's physical shape. You can shape it.
Yeah.
Okay. I've heard the guy saying that the acronym from team. You know what stands for?
No.
It was I was flabbergasted. Together, everyone achieves more.
Nice.
I've never seen. I mean, we talk about okay, it's better in team together, but when I heard that, I was no way.
That's more about teamwork than leadership, in my opinion.
I was talking about just team.
Yeah.
Only I remember that clip and that guy singing, and I was, oh my god, could never
So
imagine
true.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so true. Yeah, exactly.
I can also share one of my favorite quotes. It's a Google quote.
Oh.
Beware. But is that Google quote I always share with my team when I start on a project. I think I'm quite obsessed with it. It's if you want to go far, go alone. But I'll say it again. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I remember the picture that was behind the quote when I first saw it on Google, and it stuck into my mind. It was a canoe in an African river, and it wrote African proverb, but it was a canoe with a lot of people rowing in the same time in the sunset. So I thought back then that picture expresses perfectly that quote, and I kind of adapted it in all my work afterwards.
Okay, I accept it. It's a good one.
It's a good one.
Well, it's okay. But now I was wondering, how do you manage, because you are still a medical in medical school, you are still a student. How do you manage to equal the time for studying and time for volunteering?
It's not really equal.
Okay, I understand, but you're not a shitty student. I mean,
Yeah.
I know for sure you're not. You're actually a good and great one, and you do basically best in both worlds. How do you manage to do that?
So
I mean, we all have 24 hours.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm starting to have less than 24 hours. When I look at the clock, it's like, damn. So I think in the first years of the university, I used to manage it quite better than now, because I had less work to do as a volunteer and a student representative. But right now, I think I renounced all my vices when it comes to losing time. And I'm no longer watching any TV series that waste me a lot of time. I'm no longer
I feel you here.
yeah, I'm no longer going out when I don't really need to, or it's not an important person going out. I'm not randomly going out. Let's spend a few hours out randomly. I prefer to work and do something either for my studies or for the association I'm working with. And I think time management, even though I'm not very good at it, but I'm trying, even when I'm doing something, to something like for myself, even when I'm driving, because Bucharest traffic is bad. So I'm trying to take advantage of absolutely every minute I have, and even in traffic, I'm listening to podcasts. I'm watching educational videos on YouTube about the things I'm having at the hospital. Maybe in that specific day, I had the neurological exam a few days back, and I remember still having a few subjects I didn't study. So I just picked a YouTube video and watched it in the car when I was going to the exam. So I try to get advantage of absolutely every minute I have. I'm not doing it yet that efficiently because I still have a lot remaining tasks at the end of the day, and I need to take once in a while a day when I just finish absolutely all the work I have, and I started from the beginning with planning from the other day. But it's better than it used to be. So now, I don't know, once in 2 weeks I have that overwhelming day when I have to finish everything I left. But back then I was doing everything very hectic.
So basically, you have a schedule. You schedule your day, your week. You do that.
I'm not that complex. I just have a list of things to do.
That's planning.
It is planning, but I don't schedule it by minutes.
Man, that's crazy. That's not
Oh,
planning.
I know
Planning,
someone.
I have this week, I have this task, so I have this day,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have to do this. I mean, not by minutes.
Yeah, no, I actually know people that do it by minutes.
And it's okay, it works.
It works for some of them, but I could never do it because my day changes so many times in a day.
But there
so
are too many variables. I mean, you go
Exactly.
crazy because sometimes there are things that are not up to you and that you can do, and you end up to say, "Oh, I did not do this." And
yeah, we should have had this podcast 2 days ago. So,
yes, yeah, I agree with you. I do the same thing when I'm not very often driving due to the traffic, but I always have my headphones, and I also, as you said, I'm listening to podcasts, to videos, anything related.
so to sum it up, it's planning, but not over plan, because when you over plan, you will not be able to improvise anymore and to adapt.
Of course.
And the second thing is just being aware that time is your best resource, because
And the most valuable resource that you have.
exactly, that's what I wanted to say. At this point, I would buy time. I would work to get more time than to get money. So I really
Welcome to 21st century.
yeah.
But do you have any routines? I don't know, morning, evening. weekly routine?
I try to
Daily.
do routines. I'm not extremely good at it just because my schedule changes all the time. I'm trying to wake up early to finish my emails at least in the morning, but it never happens. So no, I cannot really say I have routines at
How
this point. I dream of having routines, and I'm planning to try to get a morning routine at least to start the morning in a good way.
I think that's so important. You
Yeah.
can start by having I don't know. This is the thing that I took up some time ago, and
Hmm.
it's so great. Um, I don't look at my phone in the first hour. I just don't. I have my alarm. I shut off the mobile data, so I receive no notification in the morning. I just cancel the alarm, get up, eat, stay, and listen to radio, to some music for 1 hour. Okay, you can try with 30 minutes,
Yeah.
but don't uh, because I know it helps my brain to start up and prepare for the avalanche of notifications and everything that pops, that blinks, that
Yeah.
beeps, and everything like this. And for me, it worked. I mean, I became less anxious of things that I have to do in that day
Yeah.
or in that period.
I
You know,
I
and it
totally
works.
understand, and I work with people from more time zones. So when I wake up, it's not only that my Romanian friends have slept, so they didn't work in the night, but I have people working with from the whole world, and they have worked back in while I was sleeping. So I get a lot of news and emails in the morning. But what I would like to do in the mornings is, as you said, to wake up, to have enough time to eat because I never eat in the morning, to exercise a bit because I got fat, and I don't know, to have a coffee or read some random news not related to what I to medicine or
The
to what to
magazine.
my work exactly,
Because if
and
you
then to
don't go
start work.
online, you turn the phone and the everything will
Yeah.
pop up. Um, okay, enough with the work. Tell me about your hobbies. What do you most enjoy doing?
Okay, so I told you that I can also mention volunteering because
Besides that,
in
yes.
every form, what I enjoy the most doing and that relaxes me the most, I think, is traveling. I know it's quite stereotypical because half of the people on earth would say traveling when it comes to hobbying, but for me, it's really even when I go traveling and get tired by doing it because I usually backpack, so I don't like to fancy travel or to go to the beach and roast in the sun for the whole day. I like to backpack and to meet the people and to get to know the culture, eat on the eat on the street and so on. So that kind of traveling gets you tired, but my mind gets better. So after I travel on a shoestring like this for a time, my mind gets totally refreshed and I can start from the beginning. So I would say traveling, and some hobbies I'm neglecting for a while. I've been neglecting for a while are reading. I had a passion in gliding. I wanted to get my gliding license, but I didn't have enough time for it, so maybe I'll get it next year. But yeah, overall, it's traveling.
It's very nice. I mean, I know you traveled a lot. Everyone watching your Facebook, your Instagram could see that. But tell me more about. I'm so curious, and I don't know quite a lot of things about your Red Bull experience. Your Red Bull, can you make it? I think it's awesome. I've seen just some pictures, some random pictures, and I don't know if I have ever had the chance to talk to you about it. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so too.
But tell me more about this.
So when it comes to Red Bull, can you make it? I'm on the edge between complaining about it
Okay.
and praising it as one of the best
But
experiences
how,
of my
how did
life.
you end up in
Doing
that?
it.
Yes.
That's a funny story. So almost all the things I've done were by chance. So when I went to Japan, I just got a phone call and they were like, "You have 4 hours to decide if you want to go for 1 year to Japan." Then when it came to Red Bull,
They are not chances, they are signs.
yes, I got a phone call and they were like, "Okay, man, it was a friend of mine. Man, I need access in one of the students' dorms to put some flyers, some brochures about this contest my company is organizing." "Oh yeah, we haven't talked to each other for a while. Where are you working?" "Oh, and I'm working at Red Bull." That was my friend. "I'm working at Red Bull and they are doing this contest in Europe to something with traveling." "Okay, I'll help you with the access in the students' dorm. We can meet for a coffee." And I went. I met him when he was sticking the posters in the student dorm, and I saw the thing, and I remember writing there like very big on the poster, 7 days in Europe, no phones, no money. Can you make it? And I was like, okay, this sounds like a thing I would like to do, and out of chance. Some of my other two friends from the students' council back in high school that saw the poster in the students' dorm, they randomly called me. So have you seen that poster? Yeah, the other guy told me about the poster. Would you like to do it? Yeah. Are you free in April? Yeah. Are you free? Yeah, I'm. Okay. Who's the third person? We just thought in the same time. We just said the same name in the same time, and I was like, okay, let's call him. Are you free in April? Yeah, I am. Would you like to travel in Europe? Yes. Okay, let's meet. That lasted like for 20 minutes. So in 20 minutes, I met the guy that was sticking the posters. I called the other guy. We called the third guy, and we had a team. So that's how I ended up doing it, and well, that's how I ended up wanting to do it. And then we had to shoot a video. It had to be a 1 minute long video about why we can do it. And
I think I've seen that video.
Yes, it's 1 minute long, and then people had to vote it. And I remember meeting every day in that voting week and trying to plan to send the video to celebrities to reshare it on Facebook and so on. And at the end of the day, we were the highest ranked in Romania. So we got to get the first place and go to the final in Europe.
It's very nice. And the experience itself. I mean, I know that your only currency was the Redbull cans.
Yeah, so the contest itself, it's not a complex thing. Like, we were left in the middle of Barcelona. Mm-hmm. They took our phones, our money, they checked our bags, and they wanted to check we don't have any money.
But how people respond when you tell, oh, we are in a contest and I give you Red Bull for, I don't know, for food, for some place to stay?
So, actually, people were not that responsive to exchanging Red Bull. They were more responsive to exchanging the story. Mm-hmm. So they probably out of health concerns, because, well, I cannot comment about how healthy Red Bull is. So people were not, some of them were not getting the Red Bull, actually, were not accepting the Red Bull, but we were telling them the story and telling them that we have the courage to try to travel Europe for 7 days without any money and phone, and they were giving us stuff. And that experience actually brought me back, I use a cliche, faith in humanity. And I'll tell you why. Because it's not a cliche in this case.
Give me one more Google quote and I shut this down.
Sorry. So, but no, in this case, it is really true. So I'll just tell you like 2 stories.
Okay.
So 3 stories. So first story, we were in a train. Almost all the stories happens in train. We were in a train, I think in Switzerland, mm-hmm. And we were kicking out. We were on the way of being kicked out by the controller from the train. So the train staff was taking us to get us out in the next station, and one young guy saw us, and he followed the controller, and he kicked us out, and the guy came with us. We're like, okay, why did you get off the train in the middle of nowhere? Oh, well, I'm an entrepreneur. I work from home. I can work from my phone, so I can stay with you and help you out. Randomly, we haven't spoke to the guy, and he was a former refugee, so he left some Eastern Mediterranean country a while back, and he moved to Switzerland, and he was working something in IT, and he got off the train with us, and we went together to the main train company in Switzerland, to their office, and he was translating for us our story and everything. I personally cannot speak French. None of the team members can speak French, and in that area they were speaking French, so he was translating, and he actually got us a deal to travel for free in Switzerland for the whole week if we take a photo with the controllers and with their flag, with the flag of the company, and we post on social media. Like that, in 5 minutes.
Like on the spot? On
the spot. And we just took the photo, we posted absolutely everywhere on social media, and we traveled for free in Switzerland. But that guy actually lost half of the day, because he was living 300 kilometers from that place. He got off the train. So he had to go out of the train to help us, then to go back in the train and go home. And that's a loss of money and time for him, but he did it for us. The second story, it's about food, because we were usually begging for food or waiting in the supermarket where people pay for the food and ask them to give us something from their basket. I remember being, in a fight with the controller again. That was in Germany, that was near Frankfurt. And one young guy staying in the train just told us, okay, what are you guys doing? Why are you fighting? And I was like, oh, we are with Red Bull. Are you leaving now? No, I'm staying for some more kilometers. Okay, I'm coming back to you. We sorted the things out with the controller. Then I got back to the guy with one Red Bull can. And I told him the story. And he told us that I would love to do that. I'm a banker. I cannot take more than 2-3 days per month or per year or something like that. I would love to travel. I never traveled back further than a few hundred kilometers around Frankfurt in the last years. And he was so impressed by the story.
That's the definition of a sad person.
Yes, but he was so impressed by the story that he was like, okay, I would like to buy you dinner. And I told him, we went to the dinner wagon from the train. And I told him I would like something I can share with my friends, because we are 3 teams together. There was 1 American team and 2 Romanian teams in the compartment. And he told me, okay, how many of you are? We are 9. If you can get me something we can eat with more forks. No. I'll order you something for all of you. No, but it's too expensive. And he ordered like 9 meals, 9 sodas, 9 everything, 9 coffees, and that was like 350 euros.
The man was a banker. I mean,
yes, but still he spent 350 euros for 9 random students in a train.
He was basically
with a story,
living his dream through you.
Exactly. And the last story, which was the one that actually made me never regret this experience, we were also in Germany, I think, in one of the last days of the competition. In the previous 2 days, we slept under a roof, so we were quite fresh. Because in the other 2 days, we slept outside in a park, so we were quite tired in those nights. So we were quite fresh, and we decided, okay, we cannot find a hostel that would let us sleep in for free. So we'll just go back and sleep in the train station or sleep somewhere on the street. And we went to a bar, and we had the challenge to sleep with a rock band in the night. So we found a big bar, very big bar. And they had an Irish band singing that night. And we asked them, okay, can we sing with you? They said yes. And then we were just hanging out in the bar. And there was this very, very short Asian lady. She was from Nepal. She was just drinking her beer on the bar. And we were complaining to the bartender that, okay, we will probably stay here for a while because we don't have a place to sleep and so on. And she actually heard us, and she was like, no, but you can sleep in my place. No, but it's not only the 2 of us. We are 6 people, and we are traveling, and we have a lot of bags. No worries. My brother is traveling the world, and he always sleeps in random people's places. You can sleep in my place. And she actually took 6 Romanians, 5 boys and 1 girl, to the apartment, right there on the spot. She took us in the apartment. I cannot remember that moment. She took us in the apartment. She told us, okay, this is my room. Please don't sleep in it. You can get in if you want. And you have this living room, and you have the kitchen and the bathroom. You can put your sleeping bags wherever you want, and you can use whatever you want. The key is in the door. I'll go and finish the beer in the bar. See you there.
Awesome.
And she left. And that lady was so amazing. She just took 6 random people just because she felt so.
It's absolutely fascinating.
Yes. And she spent the whole night actually. After singing with that rock band, she came with us, showed us the city, bought dinner for all of us, and she stayed awake even though she was working in the other day. She stayed awake for the whole night planning with me on the map. So everyone was taking a shower or eating her food. And I remember staying with her on the table in the kitchen. And we were looking on the map, okay, where are we going next? What challenges can we do on the way? That was one of the moments I loved that competition. And the last one I got faith in my friends back home is when we got to Paris. And there were 200 teams in the competition. And we were always in top 10. But when we got to Paris in the second to last day, we left from top 10 because we were not having enough votes from home. So I remember sending our first message in Romanian, basically begging for help. So like, okay, we've been traveling so far. Please help us. We cannot do it without you because we don't have any more challenges we can do in Paris. So we cannot get enough points to win this or to be in top 10 without you. Let's keep Romania in top 10. I remember a huge mobilization of forces back home, posting on the university groups, my friends from high school, everyone's friends from high school. And everyone was posting about it. And in the end, because of those votes and because of the people working at home, even though they couldn't talk to us, they just saw that video. We actually were on the 10th place, so we got to top 10 in the last day.
So nice, very nice. I mean, do you imagine that there are people that do not have so many stories to tell that you told me even just about this Red Bull experience in their whole life? While you're telling me here in 10 minutes about this, I mean, it's amazing.
Everyone has their
stories, but we can go this for hours like this. I mean, we can talk
for 2 days.
For 2 days, of course. I'll ask you some questions. Let's fire up some questions with short and very quick answers, right?
Yeah. I usually talk a lot, so
it's not about that. I mean, we can we can stay as long as you want, but I think it will be interesting. What are the things that you are most grateful for?
My family. You wanted short answers.
You can add. I mean, if you have one or two or three, but not
The way I've been raised by my
Mhm.
family. I think I'm grateful for that, and I will use a vague word by luck, because I think I'm a lucky person. Someone
I think
up
so.
there, just brings me some luck, I guess.
What would you like to change about yourself?
Discipline. Okay, I can add more.
No, I mean, if you want to be more disciplined.
I would like to be able to be a bit more disciplined, bringing up the discussion about routines again.
Mhm.
I think I'm still wasting some time, and I can be a bit more efficient. And sometimes I'm acting too fast without thinking. Sometimes, usually I'm
That's
a
not a
good
bad thing.
I'm a good planner, but sometimes when I cannot say angry, but very
Anxious.
eager about something, I just
Mhm.
do it and without thinking, and sometimes it's not the best result. And if I plan, maybe it is better.
I think that the regret of maybe failing is less than the regret of not doing.
Oh
at
yeah,
all.
yeah, I agree.
So, if you could do something else, and you would have the skills, the expertise, whatever you want, for 48 hours, what would you do?
Something else? You mean like a job, or you mean like?
Yeah, a job, a profession, I don't know, anything you want, an experience. Maybe you want to, I don't know, to pilot an airplane.
No, I'm going back to my gliding experience. I would pick either gliding, which is close to piloting that airplane, because I still regret that don't having that license. Or that's another thing I would like to do. Sailing through the ocean. That's not 40 hours. It's a bit more, I guess.
Yeah, but it's okay.
But-
I understand what you're saying, the principle behind the.
I would pick anything related to
To
travel
travel.
anytime.
Yeah. Okay, I understood. What's the advice you'd give to the 20-year-old you?
To the 20-year-old me, let me think what state I was in my 20. Were we in the university at 20 years?
I were.
I think I was also. Yeah, we are almost the same age. 20 years me.
I don't know. Okay, to your
Conti-
18.
Okay, to the 18-year-old me. No, we can go back to 20. I like the 21.
Okay.
Don't abandon the research part. That's one of the small regrets I have about my university part. As you have seen in my bio, I used to be part in congresses
I know.
and research projects, and that was the first thing I abandoned when I started to do a lot of volunteering, and I was basically stuck with volunteering and studying, but I didn't have time for the extensive research I was doing back then.
Okay.
So it's that.
The research. Do more
It's that,
research. That's
it's that.
the advice. And the last question: how would you like to be remembered?
I think that the dream of a lot of people, it's a cliche again, is to be remembered when they pass out at a point. I would like to be remembered as someone that did a change in good. I know it's cliche, but I just want to be remembered
that's
like
what I
that.
want to do with this podcast. I mean, it's not cliche. You want
Yeah.
to do something.
I don't know at this point my higher purpose. I want to be remembered by that specifically. I'm still looking for that. That's why I'm still traveling and doing a lot of different stuff in the same time to still figure out my way. But I know for sure that at the end of my life, I would like to be remembered as someone that did something epic for a lot of people. And I don't mean by just a community, I mean globally.
Yeah. Well, what can I say? Thank you so much for coming, and I'm looking forward to meeting for another episode or another episodes as well.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It was amazing.